Going on, guys? One, love out to everybody. We got UFC 320 Ankalaev versus Pereira Part 2. Prediction breakdown here, guys. Before I get started, hit the thumbs up button. Also subscribe to this channel. Also check out my Patreon account for my face-up prediction and prop plays. You can also donate to my PayPal account, and also check out Wayne Gitchy for more health and wellness, more fitness, more lifestyle changes. If you want to change the way you eat, exercises, and so forth, check the link down below. Check out Wayne Gitchy, alright? We're going to flow through this real quick here, guys. We got a pay-per-view card here. Excellent card, like every card. Never judge a card by the cover, right? 13 fights in the card. One fight fell off. That was Ateba versus Ozzy Diaz. And, you know, from breaking on that fight, man, like I said, everybody have a chance. But, boy, Ozzy would have a tough time in that fight, to be honest with you, you know, because from what I see from him probably want to stand up, you know what I mean, and what I see from Ateba, his stand-up is pretty elusive, man, very raw power, you know, and very technical guy too, and he's improving consistently, so I'm not sure why he withdrew, but, you know, everything happened for a reason still, right? So we're going to flow through this real quick here, guys, and like I said, I love every card, and this is a pay-per-view card, so we're looking at also a bigger cage on this one, so it can make a difference when you're fighting in a bigger cage, right? You got a little more room, or a lot more room to move around in, you know, compared to the Apex cage that's kind of small. You know, with the bigger cage, you can cover more distance, right? So first fight here, guys, we got Victoria Hardy versus Brogan Walker. Victoria Hardy, man, I'm actually impressed with her, man. You know, she has been improving a lot since she's been training with Don Hardy. You know, her boxing got way better. She always had that taekwondo background, so her kicking game was always good. Her movement was always good too, but her hands got a lot better, and also her ground game, her takedown defense got a lot better too, right? Let me see her. Yeah, that's pretty much it. You know, it's pretty much solid. You know, she's coming into herself, right? Her opponent to Brogan Walker. Brogan Walker hasn't fight since 2023, so you know that's a long time, dude. You know, to not be in the octagon, you know, to be in the cage, you know, because you know it's a game, you know, and if you're not participating, then you ain't learning, not improving, right? So you have to play the game, you have to be in there, right? Coming off a tough 30, BJJ black belt though. Like I said, woman fight, like I always say, you know, can go either way, and the guys too. But sometimes with a woman, you know, sometimes a little bit difficult, you know, if it's depending. If it's like a Chachenko, Amanda Nunes, you know, a little more certainty, or a Cyborg, but can't be too certain still. But I'm going to go with Veronica Hardy here, guys. I'm going to say Veronica Hardy by decision, all right? I feel Veronica Hardy is a little more well-rounded as far as the stand-up. Brogan Walker stand-up is not that good. And activity-wise, Hardy more active, right? So Hardy by decision, guys. Next fight, I got Ramiz Bragajamaj. I think I pronounced that right. Barahimaj versus Austin Vanderford. Ramiz here, man, coming off of some injuries. I believe he had a bad neck injury, and probably was going to retire or something like that, but I guess he healed up and everything like that, and looked good in his last two fights. You know, this guy is pretty elusive too with the wrestling. You know, his wrestling is pretty good. 11 by submissions. Majority of his wins are all by submissions. 100% finishing rate. I think he had one knockout, which was against Mickey Gall. That's the only knockout he has. But let me see here. But this guy will mix it up, and he will even go in the pocket and strike with you. He has raw power on him, but most of his finishes are all by submissions, except that one knockout he has there, you know, against Mickey Gall. He can get taken down though. That's one thing I noticed, and he will slow down as the fight go along, right? His opponent here, Austin Vanderford. Remember, Austin Vanderford was actually in a contender series, man, way back in 2018, dude. And he just got into the UFC now, you know what I mean? So he won his fight in the contender series. Was it 2018? Was also in Bellator. Yeah, man, he was way back in the contender series, dude. 2018, guys. And you just make it know. And there's just something wrong with that. Some kind of insight in, you know, I don't know. But Yeah, but from what I see from Vanderford, he doesn't look bad. His wrestling base is decent, strong wrestling base. His striking though, yeah, he can strike, but kind of suspect though. Cause when you touch him on the chin, he can get knocked out, dude. So he been knocked out twice, but it was against Aaron Jeffrey and Gegard Mousasi, which Gegard Mousasi is very, very experienced guy. So to lose to Gegard is not a bad thing. 49-9, dude. This guy's a super, super freaking veteran, dude. Been there for a long time, right? So to lose to Gegard is not bad, But he is hittable though. That's the thing. And when you touch him, he can get knocked out. All right. So this is a fight where, boy, man, you gotta be very careful with this one, guys. I have a feeling about this one, man, and man, I have a strong feeling that maybe Ramirez could pull off a win here, man. And it's possibly, I know that Ramirez doesn't have much knockouts, but he does possess power though, and he does possess raw power. So when he connects on you, he could finish you. And also, this come down to the wrestling too. Who's a better wrestler here, but I feel Ramirez possibly has a submission, in his back pocket. And the only knockout here for Ramirez was because his ear. Remember when he fought Max Griffin and his ear fell off? That I know it's kind of strange to say that, right? His ear got ripped off, like pretty much off of the head. I'm saying, just hanging off. That was from the cauliflower and everything like that. And then plus when you get punched there, it can open a wound. So that's the only, it was like a doctor stoppage. But overall, I feel that Ramirez is more durable than Austin, man. It's way more durable than Austin. So Austin can get chin and then fall out, and just knock out, and get flat line, right? Submission wise, Ramirez has a better submission here, but looking at this also by experience, I feel Austin is a little more experienced as far as the competition that he has faced. I know that Ramirez, he fought, like Max Griffin, Court McGee, and all these guys here. But you look at Austin, Gegard, and a lot of guys in Bellator. He fought Jeffrey, even Edwards, the brother here. Fabian Edwards, it's little fights. I mean, they I say kind of close and experienced in a kind of way. But with Ramirez to come off of that injury, so I don't know if he's even 100%. He seems like, against Billy Goff and Mickey Gill and all these other guys. But I noticed that when you start to wrestle Ramirez, which he's good at, he can tend to slow down, dude. When you put a high-paced wrestling on him, pit him against the cage, you can pretty much kind of grind him out if you keep the fight tight. As long as Austin keep this fight tight, which look like he's starting to do that from his last couple fights here. I see that he doesn't want to strike too much. He would touch you here and there, but he doesn't want to engage with the striking too much. He want to close the distance quick. I'm gonna push for Austin, man. I'm gonna say Austin by decision, dude. But honestly, man, I feel like there's a little thing inside of me saying that that Ramirez could win this fight, guys. So this one, to me, it should be an even fight. It should be an even fight. We're gonna look at the odds afterwards, but this fight should be even. It better be an even fight. So this fight is kind of like a heads or tail, guys. I'm telling you that right now. I know I can look at it right now, but I'm gonna save that to the end of the video. But I'm gonna go Austin though. But it's 50-50, man. I believe Ramirez could win. But Austin by decision. Alright. Next fight here we got Punahele Soriano versus Nikolai Varentenakov. Yeah, I think I pronounced that right. Soriano here. Soriano moved down to 170, man. From I believe it was 185, and he looked good at 170, man. Fits in real nice. Raw, heavy power on him still. His cardio looks better, and he will push high wrestling. He has a good wrestling base in him. He will grind, and that's the thing that he's going to need in this fight. Against Medic, quick knockout. Against Miguel Bize, I believe he was grinding in that fight, and his cardio looks good. Cause this is a guy at 185, he would sometimes gas out. But at 170, he looks pretty good, right? His opponent here, Nikolai, Nikolai, man, keep doing the same thing. You know, striking base looks solid. You know, it seems kind of stiff at time, but the striking is not bad. But it's his takedown defense, dude. Takedown defense no good, man. Takedown defense is his issue, bro. You can take him down straight out the fight, straight out the gate in the first round. You can get him down if you pressure him. You know, once you keep a pressure on him and you avoid the punches, avoid the striking, keep it real tight. Because you don't want to stay long range with this guy because he can strike long range. That's his thing. Again, with Soriano, you know, he got the power too, but I don't think Soriano want to play with this guy too much. Because remember, his style kind of make fights here, guys. And Nikolai can strike, and Soriano, you know, can strike too. But at the same time, you know, we see Soriano get pieced up. You know what I mean? By certain guys. Remember, stars can make fights. So it depends on who you're matching up with. You know what I'm saying? Roman Kabalov kind of touch him up a little bit. You know, Brandon Allen slightly too. You know, it's like certain guys will touch him up. I believe Nikolai can do it. So I feel Soriano need to keep this fight real tight, which he can, and just wrestle this guy. You know, it's easy. This guy's easy to take down, dude. Easy can take him down, and just keep a high pace, grind. Let's chain wrestle him. So I'm liking Soriano for that. I say Soriano by I'm gonna say first round KO TKO, but probably more like a ground and pound kind of action. Take him down on ground and pound, because you know, with Nikolai he does the same thing. You take him down and he just lays on his back the entire round. He doesn't even try to get up as much, right? So I'm gonna go with Soriano for this one. I'm gonna say first round, and also experience from Soriano also. So KO TKO by Soriano, all right, in the first round. Next fight we got Patchy Mix versus Jacob Williams. Patchy Mix here, man. I know his last fight there, you know, was, you know, didn't turn out his way, but you know, I'm still high on Patchy Mix. You know, I mean, I feel like he's a pretty good fighter, man. You know, he just didn't look good in that fight, and it could be because of the year off. You notice that he hasn't fought since 2024, and before he had that fight in the UFC against Mario Batista. So it could be, you know what I'm saying, like it kind of rusted there a little bit. You know what I mean? But this is a guy that, you know, he wants a submission. You know, his ground game is his thing, and he will catch you. He will submit you to 13 by submission. And he's durable, experienced guy. You know, like I said, it could just be the year out, but I'm still high on him, though, man. I mean, it's just one of those things where, you know, when you're not doing it, you know, for a little bit, sometimes you go in there against a guy like Mario. You know, I take anything away from Mario, you know. I feel that Mario is a good fighter, too, and that could be a thing, you know. Yeah, you know, Patchy Mix lost, but Mario possibly could be a top guy, you know. And like I said, you know, Mario Batista been looking good, so that's something that we need to look at too. You know, can't really, you know, kind of disrespect the guy in any kind of way. You know, he's been winning. He been winning from 2022. You know, 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 fight winning streak, dude. And against Patchy Mix, which I thought that Patchy Mix was going to beat him. A lot of people thought Patchy Mix was going to beat him. You know what I mean? So I'm taking a away from Batista on that one. Like I said, with Patchy Mix, though, his thing is ground, though, man. So he needs to push his ground again. He didn't push no ground enough. He didn't even go for a takedown in that fight. You know what I mean? This guy is skilled, man. Like I said, I'm not here to talk trash. I'm not going to never disrespect any of these martial artists or fighters, because there's a lot of work to come in here and fight, man. You know, you put your health in the line. A lot of these guys got to go through training, cut weight. It's not easy, man. You know, getting punched in the face, getting brain damage, getting your bones broken, destroy your health. You know what I mean? It's not easy. So I would never disrespect this guy. I feel Patchy Mix is a top contender still. The guy is skilled, man. He's coming from Bellator, dude. And you know, like, you know, Bellator is a good organization as well. You know, and he beat some good guys over there. He beat Sergio Pettis, who was in UFC. You know what I mean? He beat a couple good guys. He beat Haraguchi, who was also in the UFC too. You know, so there's a lot of guys that he beat. You know, he also beat Wanakaledo, I think. Yeah, you know, he beat a couple good guys, man. You know, so Tony Gravel. As I said, I just felt like, you know, sometimes you just have a half, you know, like a half, you know, you just have a off day, you know what I mean? So just like the last fight with Robert, I believe it was Robert versus the guy there from I'm see I can remember. Robert versus I can't remember that fight there. Robert versus give me a second here, guys. Guy from the dude there from I think it's from Hawaii. Yeah, and people were like, "Oh, Robert sucks. You know, he sucks. Robert sucks. Robert sucks." I'm like, "No, man. Robert versus I can't remember the guy's name. I know that the guy was Robert though, but he had a bad. His debut was bad. Like he didn't look good, you know, in his debut fight at all, right? And he came in here and he won pretty convincingly too. I'm trying to remember the name of his opponent that he fought. Damn, I can't remember, guys. And now that I mention it, is like, now that I actually mention it, is like, man, I gotta like make you guys know who it is, huh? Robert versus, what's his name, bro? Come on, man. Come to Brad Tarvis. Robert versus Brad Tarvis, right? And everybody was like, "Oh, Brad Tarvis is gonna win." I'm like, "Hell no! I think this Robert guy is pretty good. He just had a bad debut. I feel Patchy Mix had a bad debut, but the guy that Patchy Mix is fighting though is kind of different. It's Jacob guy or Jacob or Jacob. I call him Jacob. I don't know. I feel this guy here is not bad, man. His opponent here is not bad, dude. From what I see, his striking looks pretty solid. His ground game is pretty good too. So this guy pushes more his ground. He doesn't look bad. He can be hittable at times though when he's kind of like when he's out there, you know, in long range, he can get kind of touch up a little bit, you know, especially when he's closing the distance too. But he will mix it up and he will look for the sub. He got 10 by submission. So this kid here is not bad. No, when we look at the Robert fight versus Brad Tarvis is kind of like faded. You know, it's kind of like a decline, but he's experienced, but he's declined. You know, there's not much left in Brad Tarvis. This kid here, from what I see, is pretty dangerous. So this fight here, it could be a tough fight for Patchy Mix. So I'm not sure about this one, even though I'm still high on Patchy Mix. But like I said, you know, with Patchy Mix, I don't know what's going on with him. I don't know if it's a mental. I don't know if it's like maybe he's declining. It's possible. You know, he just didn't look good in that fight. His boxing didn't look good. He looked slow, stiff. He wasn't moving his head at all. He was eating a lot of shots. His boxing, his striking didn't look good. He just didn't. He looked like a completely different fighter. He just didn't look like the guy that was in Bellator, you know. And he looked completely like nothing that I knew him for. You know, his takedowns, just that he just looked lost in there. So he can't look like that against his Jacob guy, because Jacob guy, I believe, will come in there and just cut through him. Will come in there and fight. You know, he's gonna put it all out there. From what I see from Jacob, he looks good, man. So, but I'm gonna go with Patchy Mix though. Like I said, I'm not cutting Patchy Mix out. I'm still high on him, and I feel like he has more experience than Jacob. And I feel like skill-wise, you know, he's well-rounded, but Jacob is also skilled too and well-rounded. So it can be a tough one here, guys. But I'm gonna go with Patchy Mix by submission in the second round. But I'm not confident, guys, because I like what I see from Jacob. So be careful. Very, 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 very careful with this one. This fight to me is an even fight. Just the fact from what I see from Patchy Mix in his last fight. I just have to say it like that. So even fight for me, 50-50. I got Mix though by submission second round. Next fight we got Macy Chasson versus Yana Santos. Macy Chasson, sorry. I mispronounced that. My pronunciation is perfect. Macy Chasson here, originally 145er. I believe she's going on to 135. She's a big woman. She's a big woman, man. 5'11", 72-inch reach, dude. She's a massive woman, dude. And I believe she could have the physical strength in this fight, which could play a huge factor. 5 inch of height, 4 inch of reach. But she will drop the ball, though. That's the thing. She will drop the ball. And it just seems like when she's in there, she's striking, and then she just starts to like fade. Like she doesn't look the same. You touch her up, you take her down, she's on her back, she can't get up. You know, she does the same thing in every single fight. I see no improvement. I see no improvement in her, right? Yana, on the other hand, major improvement. Major improvement with Yana. Major freaking improvement, man. I mean, it's like night and day. Her boxing, her kickboxing and Muay Thai. She had a Taekwondo background, from before. But everything looks better, bro. Like, she looks sharper, her technique is clean, and she putting in mad work, dude. You're looking at Instagram, dude. She's training her ass off, dude, consistently. She's on it, dude, with discipline. Day in and day out, bro. You can tell the changes, man. Her body, everything, dude. Her combinations, her heart, her confidence, her mental, everything is on point. And also, again, she's an American top team. And like I said, it's about American top team. A lot of people may sleep on American top team, but usually when they come in here, their guys usually win, dude. Especially in UFC. That's something to look at too. And there's a couple of American top team guys on this card. I must say that there's a couple of American top team guys on this card, and usually when they come in here, they're usually winning, bro. All right, so keep that in mind, because the thing about American top team, they will set up the game plan like specifically. Set the game plan specifically for that opponent that you're fighting, for you to just get the win. So if you're gonna go in there and just wrestle, that's all you're gonna do. If you're gonna go in there and only strike, that's what you're gonna do. If you're gonna go in there and only throw leg kicks or jab, and move around, that's all you're gonna do, and you stick to the game plan. They're game planning on you, bro, and they study the opponents that they're fighting. I'm telling you this from experience, because I also train at a gym. All right, so Yana here has improved massively. The only thing I could say that she's frame is more 135 frame, and Macy is frame maybe a little bigger, again, height and reach. So strength factor could play an issue here. So that's only the one thing. But technically wise, skill wise, the person that put the work in day in and day out and with change is Yana. And experience, I have to go with Yana. So I'm gonna go Yana on this one, guys. I'm gonna say Yana by maybe like a split decision, possibly just a decision or split. But again, I back to women fights again. Most people may look at the women fights as more the woman who's more like bigger and more height, reach, would be the one to favor, strength wise, the physical attributes. But man, Yana could also be the stronger one in here, the physical. Like I said, you can push her on Macy against the cage and hold her there and take her down and just move her on and touch her up, and and pepper up with shots. But I just don't see no improvement with Macy, man. She can get hurt to the body. You can pepper her up. She gets to the ground. You can, just certain things. She just doesn't improve on. And I see Yana just improving consistently. So I'm gonna go with Yana Santos, guys. I must say Yana Santos by decision. Like I say, could just a split. You know what I mean? But again, 50-50, man. Like I said, Macy could just win off of just physical, just being the stronger woman here. I know that it's just not only physical, it's a technical attribute, also the mental. But physically can play a factor too. If Macy can just muscle her around, hide and reach and muscle her and hold her tight and maybe even get her to the ground, because Macy will go for takedown and get her to the ground, mount her. The fight could be over. He's just getting out muscle there. At this point, just getting the bigger body against her, right? But I'm gonna go with Yana, and I could be wrong on this one, but Yana by split decision, guys. All right, zero confidence. Next fight, we got Daniel Santos versus Joe Sangyoy. This is a good one here, guys. Daniel, man, coming out of there from the shoot box, man. This guy is pretty legit, dude. Well-rounded skill. Can get hurt in the foot though. Can get knocked down, but he will recover and he will mix it up, man. Go for takedowns, elusive chain wrestle. Stay on your good cardio. Move up to 150. Move it to 155, right? Yeah, actually, did he? Oh, he moved. Hold on there. Okay, yeah, he moved it to 145. Sorry, guys, from like 135. So he's looking good at that weight. Looking good at that 145 weight. But this guy here is pretty good, man. With grind, wrestle, striking, boxing, close the distance, outside, wherever distance you put him at, long, short, he's good. Right, this guy is pretty much game, and he's in there, man, and he's durable. But can't get hurt in the foot though, but he recovered though, like a zombie, keep coming forward. His opponent, what I see from Yo is pretty technical guy, man. His boxing is pretty good. Kind of remind me of Carlos Olberg a little bit, with that fade away hook, pretty sharp with the counters. Moves nice in there. His base is more boxing, like I said. Timing is on point, position is striking. He knows where he is in there, and he can read his opponents. you know, very, very well, you know, like he sees it, you know, and that's the thing, you know, like you can slip, counter, kind of like how Carlos does it, you know, Carlos Ulberg. Hats off to Carlos Ulberg against Reyes, he did his thing in there, got the counter, nice, followed up 1-2, you know, he looked very, very, very good in there, and yeah, and he's the one that won the fight, so that's very good. But the thing about Yo, though, Yo can get taken down, though. That's the thing, and his defense is not bad. Takedown defense is not bad, but you can get him down, though. And depending on the opponent, you know, I believe Daniel possibly can get him down. And Daniel's last opponent is kind of similar in height and reach to Yo. So Jong Young Lee and Jo Sang Yo is pretty similar in height and reach. So you may say that these guys are bigger than him and taller. Yeah, but you know, he did good against Lee. But Lee don't have the boxing like what Yo have, and Lee don't have the takedown defense like what Yo have. Yo is a little bit better than Lee, so Daniel is fighting a little more upgrade guy in Yo. So Yo is a little more tougher dude. So Daniel can't sleep on Yo, all right? Because Yo, from what I see, his counters are nice, man. His corners are nice, dude. It's pinpoint accurate, man. What he did to Jeka. That left hook counter, he freaking timed that, man. He was like smooth with it, stepped off, moving backwards, caught him and kept moving. And I mean, he did fall up to the ground, but he looked good in there. So Daniel can't sleep on me because he will counter Daniel. But Daniel striking ain't bad either. But it's a fight where I'll be very careful with it. I'm looking more for Daniel to grapple in this fight, to freaking grapple like what he did against Lee. That's I think that's where his you know, the way how he would gonna win the fight. You know, if you go look to grapple here, you know, because like I said, Yo boxing is not bad, so I don't think you want to play around with Yo too much on the foot. Even though Daniel striking ain't bad, but I see Daniel has I feel Daniel ground game is better than Yo. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Daniel by decision, but I'm not confident because what I see from Yo, he looks good, man. But again, more experienced guy in Daniel, you know, when you're fighting more experienced guy, no, 9-0. We see this all the time, 8-0, 9-0. I mean, is Yo at that level? Yeah, I feel he is, but I feel Daniel is at that level too. You know, and Daniel is more experienced, and I see little holes in Yo. I watch a couple of his fights, and I see little holes when he's getting taken down. I'm like, damn, this guy can get taken down. And when he get taken down, he's there on the ground, just on his back. And then he will get back to his foot eventually. But Daniel is very elusive. And coming from shoot box, these guys train everything, man. So is it shoot boxing come from? I think it is. Yeah. From shoot box from Diego Lima. So you got all those other guys in there that are way good. You know, way good at grappling and submission games, right? So I'm gonna go Daniel. I'm gonna say Daniel by decision, guys, but I'm not confident in that one. All right, Farid Basharat versus Chris Gutierrez. Farid here, man. Farid is pretty legit, man. Out of the brothers, this brother here is a little more defensively sound. I feel he moves better. I feel his ground game is a little better. He will look for takedown. He will grind. Coming out of ATT too, or he did train at ATT, but I think he's still there. He spent like a year there. So like I said, look out for these ATT guys, man. The ATT guys usually winning. You know, I mean, I'm not saying to go pick all ATT guys, but it wouldn't be a bad idea, right? So this guy's well-rounded. Let me see. This guy can take it anywhere. Got a 4-inch reach. This guy's pretty sharp, man. He's pretty legit guy. 13-0, but this guy's legit, dude. Chris Gutierrez is also a skilled one. He's top veteran, 22-5-2. Skill, well-rounded, kickboxing, coming from a good camp too, and Factory X, Muay Thai. But he can get taken down. That's the thing, man. And Basharat most likely will get him down. Chris can get taken down. I usually spend his entire time on his back. You know, take the fight real close. So Chris is a guy that will take the fight real close and pull off a split on you. You know what I mean? Like against John Castaneda here, you know what I mean? You know, the Kwang Lee fight was kind of close. You know what I mean? They get Philippe Cloros by split. So a lot of these fights here, he kind of take kind of close. You know, Cody Durden, I guess a close fight because he can get taken down. But the thing about him, he's smart though, and he will work your legs, bro. He will work your freaking legs with leg kicks, and it's kind of set you up from the outside. But he needs that outside to set you up. And Basharat must know that. At ATT, like I said, they're going to set a game plan for him. to freaking shoot in. He's gonna keep it tight. Keep it tight. So those leg kicks may not be a factor. If Basharat stay on the outside with him, he's gonna kick out Basharat legs. But Basharat should know this though. So I got Basharat by decision, guys, but not super confident because, like I said, Chris is experienced. So we gotta be careful with that. We gotta be careful with experience, guys. Good example, Neil Magny. Neil Magny, bro, versus Jake. Neil Magny versus Jake. There you go. Jake was like, what, 400 and something on the odds, right? Jake was winning. Jake was going to win. You know, it's 2 rounds in, third round, you know. See him kind of slowing down. I'm like, oh my goodness, this guy's going to lose. Because Magny usually come back. And I said to myself, damn, 2 rounds in and he's winning. I said, man, Magny usually pulls off wins in the third round, bro. He usually love to come back from the experience. And sure enough, Magny experienced. Jake is experienced too, but Magny is more experienced. And Magny came back and finished him by submission. You see what I'm saying? Never sleep on these experienced guys, man. Yeah, the records, 22 and so, but the 22 and 5 and stuff, it's experience. You know what I mean? So when you see guys like 22 and 5 and 28 and 6, and I think Magny was like some kind of 30 and 10 or something like that. You got to pay attention to that. Don't sleep on the experienced guys because they will pull a rabbit out of the hat. They will pull a rabbit out of the hat, man. I'm telling you on that. So be careful with that one, man. I'm going to go Basharat, but I'm not confident in it because Chris will put a rabbit out of the hat and surprise you. Right? The other brother lost. So be careful with that. You can always lose in this game, bro. No one is invincible. Right? You always can lose, man. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, I got Basharat, though, by decision. Next fighter, we got Edmen Shahbazyan versus Andre Muniz. Edmen is the next guy here that's been improving, kind of been up and down a little bit, but he kind of coming into himself right now, kind of fitting in, kind of finding his way. You know, seems like he's leveling out, balancing out himself. He's like I said, well-rounded. His striking is not bad. His ground game is not bad, but it's a guy that doesn't recover too well, though. So once you got him and you hit him and he's dazed and stuff, he tends not to recover too well, and he just loses a fight. Both guys will drop the ball, though, just to be honest with you, right? So Edmen could drop the ball, dude. You know, Muniz on the other hand, Muniz BJJ black belt. You know, he wants a submission, quick at the submission because he got 15 by submission. Can get knocked out 6 times, 3-inch reach. He will gas out in the first round. And this is a guy that was still a first round finisher. He loves first round finishes. He tends to gas out in the first round, especially when they push a high pace on him. Edmen got that jab on him. As long as Edmen keep that jab on him, I believe Edmen can probably most likely get him out in there. But we see from Ikram pretty much finish him with a jab. You know, it says left hook left hook to ground and punch, but it looks like it was a jab that got him out though. I mean, I could be wrong about that. But with Muniz though, Muniz was slowed down, man, and he's hittable, and he doesn't really shoot like that or chain wrestle to get the takedown. He's more like we're trying to drag it to the ground. I believe Edmen really can get him out, man. I mean, so I'm going to go Edmen by KOTK in the first round, but I'm not confident. But like I said, 50-50. Edmen sometimes will drop the ball, dude. You know what I'm saying? You can submit him. You know, he got submitted by GM3. So there's this room in there where, you know, depending on, you know, stars make fights. You get Edmen tired. You get him on the ground. I don't know. You catch him with a punch. You know, he drops to the ground. You get his neck. You know, this happens, man. And he just drop the ball. You know what I mean? But I'm gonna go with Edmen. I say Edmen by KOTK in the first round, guys. All right. Next fight we got Joe Pyfer versus Abus Magomedov. Joe Pyfer here. Joe Pyfer is a skilled dude. Power, raw power, wrestling, very explosive, very athletic. Still kind of greenish in a kind of way. He will slow down in the fight, but it's a 3-round fight. It's not a 5-round like we see against Jack Mershman, which is a 5-round fight. And Jack Mershman does pretty much game plan him, you know, make him bust his gas tank, make him wear himself out, you know, like a experienced guy would do, like a Magny. You know, they just make you, you know, make you play out yourself, you know, make you run yourself down, and then, you know, come back in the later rounds and pull off a win. You know, that's what veterans and experienced guys do, right? 3-round fight, though, against a boss, so that works very good for Joe. You know, Joe pack a lot of power. Joe is durable. Boss is an experienced guy too, skilled guy, 28-6, very experienced guy. He's coming out I believe I see him at ATT also. I mean, I could be wrong, but I think I see him at ATT training, man. So this is a guy that, like I said, a lot of ATT guys are coming and winning, dude. So you got to keep an eye out for that 3-inch reach on him. He will gas out, though. And when he gasses out, dude, all his technique. More of a striking base, but he will also submit you on the ground. He can get taken down, but his striking, man, is pretty good, dude. His striking is pretty good. Pack a lot of power, but as fight go on, though, the power goes. And he's at ATT. Yeah, I thought so. He's at American top team also training. So this guy's the next guy, ATT, that's putting in the work, man. So, yeah, don't sleep on these veteran guys. Like I said, when he gets tired, he will hesitate to throw. And I can't do that against Joe. Because Joe will look for any opportunity to take your head off. And Joe also has strong wrestling base on him, which is going to take him far. He has a strong wrestling base with a heavy hand. Will gas out, but it's a 3-round fight. And with a boss will hesitate. He will hesitate, and that hesitation is going to get him caught. So I'm going to go Joe by KO TK in the first round, guys. But I'm not confident based off of a boss is at ATT, also experience from a boss. Like I said, Joe is still kind of greenish a little bit, so you never know the game plan they have for a boss. I'm not sure what game plan a boss is going to use because Joe got good takedown defense. Joe's striking is pretty solid. So, I'm not sure what Abus is going to do in this fight. And Abus hesitates, more like a mental thing on that side of Abus. But Joe by KOTK in the first round, but I'm not confident. Next fight, we got Josh Emmett versus Youssef Zalal. This fight here is one that you got to be very careful with. But because the cage is bigger, I'm like, okay, I see Zalal maybe pulling this off, but Emmett is again a veteran. Dangerous fight for Zalal, very dangerous fight. He looked slow in the later rounds with Murphy, but he had Murphy in a little trouble here and there. But again, that's a 5-round fight. This is only 3 rounds, and against Murphy, he was in a small cage. And he was dangerous in that fight. Murphy had to be on his toes in that fight because Emmett was throwing everything at him, man. So Emmett is a dangerous match for any fight, dude. For any fighter, dangerous fight, dude. Took a couple damage in that fight and took a lot of damage in his other fights too. But Emmett is live, bro, and he puts the work in. If you look at the Instagram, he put the work in, bro. He's putting it in. His body's in well shape. He's well trained for this fight. And Emmett will find your chin, dude. He will find the chin, bro. He will crack that chin, dude. I'm telling you that. Zalal can't sleep on him. And the only thing about this fight that made me want to go towards Zalal for the win, because the cage is bigger. And there's a lot more room for Zalal to use his footwork. Zalal moves well, right? He improved a lot. I believe he got kicked at the UFC. He came back and he's in a good winning streak here. 1, 2, 3. Okay, 4-5 winning streak. I mean, he looks good. He looks like he's grown into himself. A little more experience on him side there. Sharper, 2-inch reach, 4-inch height. He's gonna be a quicker fighter. He's very defensively sound. I must say that, but that don't mean that Emmett can't find his chin. But the one thing I see here that's gonna help him a lot is that the cage is bigger. He got more room to cover, and he's gonna need that more room to cover, dude. Because Emmett will find his chin, I'm telling you. So Zalal moves well though, very light in the foot. His ground game is very good. His grappling is very good. He looked very good against when he fought LL Topuria. He's one of the guys that put LL Topuria in a little bit of trouble here and there. You know what I'm saying? Looked like he probably could have beat LL, right? But Zalal, man, like I said, I'm gonna push for him, but it's a 50-50. But I don't sleep on Emmett, bro. Don't sleep on these veteran guys, because Emmett will find his chin, man. I know he slips well. So, he takes his head off center line. Sometimes he will kind of move back with his chin up, kind of. But he knows his distance in the range. Where to keep that chin and keep himself nice and tight and tuck. Because I do the same thing too. So you kind of so you don't get caught by the shot. He knows his distance and his range well, and especially they're gonna be in a bigger cage. But at the same time, that doesn't mean that your chin cannot get touched. You know what I mean? And especially against Josh Emmett, You know, the only thing also is that the speed advantage is on Zalal's side, so that's our next thing too. So I go Zalal by decision, guys. All right. Next fight here, guys. We got Jiří Procházka versus Khalil Rountree Jr. Jiří is a bad dude, man. Unorthodox striking, flows well. His combinations are nice. He will go into the pocket and kind of like be reckless, touch you up real quick. His head will be there to get hit, but he slips, and sometimes he does get hit, but he puts that pressure on you. And especially when he knows that you're hurt, he will freaking put that pressure on you, when especially when you know you get hit, man. You know, he put that pressure on you. He will put that pressure, especially when you know you get hit. He will like look for the finish. He always look for the finish, and that's a good thing. That's a samurai mindset, man. You know, he will go into the fire, man. Blades out, man. This guy will put it on the line, bro. But he's also hittable too. So if you time him and you know what he's doing, you can catch him. He's very unorthodox and hard to read, but that doesn't mean he can't get knocked out. He has been knocked out before, especially by Alex Pereira twice. All right. Can Rountree do it? Rountree can do it. He possesses the power, but the thing about Rountree, sometimes he can get flat-footed. Like Rountree get kind of stationary at time, and that's the thing. And sometimes Rountree throw one punch, one kick, one punch, one kick. But sometimes you throw that one punch. That's with everything, you know. And if that catches Jiří, you could knock him out. But I feel like Jiří flows in and out well, man. And Jiří put a lot of volume, and that's gonna be the thing in this fight. I feel Rountree will like. He look like he's like thinking too much in there, you know. With Jiří just going through feelings. He's just feeling it and just like, I'm just moving here. I'm like touching you, I'm going back out. Now I'm going to come at you forward, but I'm going to cut to the right and touch you again. Go back up, come back in. Oh, I think I hurt you. I'm going to keep on going. Come on, I'm going at you. I mean, no, look over here. I'm in your face, man. And then he knocks you out. That's the kind of pressure he fights with, that intensity. So I got to go with Jiří, man. I say Jiří by KO TQ in that second round, but it's a 3-round fight. But the issue with this one is though that you can't sleep on Rountree, because Rountree still possesses that power, and Jiří can get hit. He can get touched, man. Even though he, like I said, he moves well and he's moving his head a little better now. Before he never really moved his head as well. He would use his footwork to get him off the center, and just rely on that a lot. So his head will still be there, but now he's moving his head, and he's always moving his foot. So now he's a little more slipping and countering more. So he flows in and out, bounce in and out, and flow and touch you, kind of like a Kyokushin. Shotokan karate kind of flow. You know, you're bouncing in and out, touching your opponent at will, you know, and defensively sound, but he can still get hit, and Rountree still possesses the power. But I like Jiří. I'm going to say Jiří by KO TQ in that second round, guys. All right. Co-main event here, guys. We got Merab Dvalishvili versus Corey Sandhagen. Merab is just like destroying these guys, bro. This guy, athletic, skilled, very, very physically strong, very technical, very skilled guy, man. All around cardio. He's a cardio machine. Well-rounded, striking got better. His movement got better. Boxing got better. Yeah, man. This guy mauls everybody, bro. He mauls them, bro. He plays with you in there. He picks you up, carry you around, laugh at you. You know what I'm saying? He just plays with you. It's like a joke. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't take you seriously. Does he have to take Corey seriously? Yeah, I think he should take every fight seriously. Corey can't sleep on, because Corey, in this fight, game plan is to knock him out. That's Corey's game plan. His game plan for this fight is to knock him out. Either cut him up to where they can stop it, or knock him out. He's not going to go in there and like touch. He's going to go in there with like full on blasting and try to take him out. But the thing about this fight, you go do that, then Merab's going to take you down, right? So it's just one of those fights where it's, can Corey do it? Yeah, he can. Corey has the skills, he got the movement, and also he got the fight IQ, right? But against Umar, he wasn't able to do it. And Merab mauled Umar, dude. He mauled him, but you can't really look at it like that because style makes fight. But, you know, Umar has a similar kind of vibe, you know, to what Merab has. And I just feel Merab does it, you know, a more higher intensity, you know, more cardio, tougher. Like I just feel Merab is like a tough, solid, experienced, technical, mental on dude. And Corey is like, you know, I gotta go in there and take him out, like sniper him out. That's the only way. You gotta stop him in his tracks. And that's his game plan. Corey did a similar thing to Young Dong Song. He cut him up in that fight. He cut him up. But Young Dong Song cuts easy though. A guy like Merab's skin is like leather. He doesn't cut too easy, dude. And you can have you seen Merab's face, dude? Dude, it's like a fire hydrant, dude. It's a fire hydrant, bro. Fire extinguisher. Both of them. It's hard to cut that, dude. It's hard to like chip that or bruise it. So, you know, it's not like Dong Young Song. You can tell Dong Young Song cuts easy, bro. If you look at Merab's face, dude, he doesn't. That dude's skin is probably like a leather, dude. Look at his face, bro. How are you gonna cut that? Just look at his face, man. You know, I'm not disrespecting him. I'm just being honest. The guy's skin is like freaking leather, dude. You know, it's hard to penetrate that or slice that. So, you know, anything is possible. But I'm going with Merab. I'm gonna say Merab by decision, and I give Merab a 70%. I give Corey 30, but again, anything is possible in this fight game. Nothing guaranteed. But I like Merab though. All right. That's a decision, right? Yeah, we got Merab by decision, guys. All right. Main fight on the card, we got Magomed Ankalaev versus Alex Pereira part 2, guys. So, like I said, this is part 2 to the first fight. And you know what, man? In the first fight, I had Magomed winning, and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna pick Alex Pereira because I think, you know, but my first time looking at this fight, I feel like Magomed is just more well-rounded. That's it. I feel Magomed is more well-rounded guy. Striking wise, you know, yeah, Alex, you know, heavy leg kick, striking probably, you know, more on the powerful side of what Ankalaev have, you know, but at the same time, it's like, you look at a guy like Magomed striking. Magomed striking is not bad, you know. He's very technical too. He moves well. The thing about Magomed, he moves well too. He moves in and out. Alex sometimes doesn't really want to move too much. Can get kind of flat-footed at times, kind of stationary. Magomed will move around and pick his shots, look for openings. And Magomed takedown is not bad. You know, his takedown defense is not bad. He's taking you down in his ground game. But even though he never took down Alex in that fight, though, Alex's takedown defense has gotten better. Yeah, man, I must say that his takedown defense got better. I don't think Magomed took him down in that fight at all. So it was just more a stand-up fight. And Magomed won the fight just off a stand-up, bro. So that tells you something, you know. It's not like Magomed had to use wrestling, which he has. So, I mean, what is Alex going to do in this fight to actually change that? Is Alex going to go for takedowns? Maybe. But that's not his strength. You see what I'm saying? So how is Alex going to win this fight? Is he going to win it by striking? Maybe, but he couldn't do it in the first fight. You know what I'm saying? I got like Magomed is solid. Magomed is solid, dude. Magomed is solid, bro. Got submitted. His only loss is by Paul Craig, but you know, you go in Paul Craig's guard, you would triangle choke you, dude. So that's to get submitted by Paul Craig is not a bad thing, dude. Especially when you're playing his guard. And he was a 9-0 at the time against 9-2. That's like 2018. So I mean, you're playing his guard. You know what I'm saying? And the one Vakovic fight by split, that was bold. He actually won that fight. Johnny Walker, no contest. Yeah, I think something happened in that fight. I think I don't know if it was a knee or something, or it was illegal or something. Accidental illegal knee, right? You know, so I just feel that Magomed is just the better fighter here. So I'm gonna go with Magomed, guys, and yeah, I got Magomed by decision. All right. Let's check the odds here, guys. See what we're working with. Got these crazy odds. Quick second here, guys. Before I do those odd breakdowns for you there, I just saw here a table fight is back on, but it's going to be Tristan Vines now. So it's going to be a very short notice here, guys. It's supposed to be Aussie. It's going to be Tristan Vines. Took a quick look. And what I see from Tristan, seems hittable, man. Seems kind of chinny, you know. Been knocked out 3 times in all the first rounds, which is perfect for a table. So yeah, these fights here in the first round went over real quick, and this is all around skill set. I don't really see nothing that shines, man. Moves around the cage, not the best footwork, very hittable, can get knocked out. Will go for takedown, sometimes he doesn't get it, can gas out in the first round. So pretty much this is a fight for Ateba to win. Also trusting taking this fight on short notice too. But Ateba, I say first round knockout, man. KO TQ in the first round, guys. Alright. So Ateba for the win there. Quick look at the odds we're working with, guys. See the change up things quick when you're there, huh? I was just about to jump into those odds breakdowns there. And I say, yo, let me take a quick look. And Fortune fights are back up. And I got that new guy there. Interesting dude, right? Quick look at the odds here, guys, that we're working with. Some crazy odds, man. Let's see here. Man, it's all over the place, bro. I know I can look on Topology too, guys, but okay. I think we start with here. Hold on. Looking for that Hardy fight. Let's let me refresh it real quick here. Something I had them all mixed up. Okay. Alright, I got Hardy at 600 and 700, bro. Damn, that's freaking high, dude. But I could see Hardy winning, though. I think Hardy more well-rounded, better striking. I even feel a Hardy grounds game is better, but Walker may have the submission, no, but I'll be careful with this one. You know, it's a fight. He probably could fade, but I wouldn't mess around with it. But I feel Hardy should win, though. All right. Austin here and Ramiz. Austin and Ramiz. Austin is 200 and something, 300. I say, remember I told you, I said this fight is even, man. I feel Ramiz can win, guys. So this is an even fight. So the odds in Austin for me is too high, way too high, because it's an even fight. Like I said, Ramiz could win. All right, so pay at your own risk on that one. I mean, I have Austin winning, you know, for my particular reasons. Probably more durable in a kind of way. The wrestling, he also has wrestling and he has striking, but he's hittable. Fighting at the ATT, you know, there's a lot of things that favor him, you know, but Ramiz could still win. All right. Punahele and Nikolai, he got Punahele at 200 and something. Damn, I mean, he has to implement the wrestling in this fight, which he does have, because Nikolai, like I said, style make fights, and Nikolai can fight long range. You know, his striking is not bad. Can be kind of stiff at times, but he can get taken down. So I feel that Punahele is the more well-rounded guy with the wrestling. So I have him winning, but like I said, could be kind of close though, so be careful. Patchy Mix, I got Mix at 300 and something. This one, like I said, I'm kind of high on Mix still, but what we saw from his last fight, it didn't look too good at all, man. So what I see from Jacob looked kind of good, man. So to me, Patchy Mix and Jacob is kind of even, dude. Because I didn't see what I usually see from Mix. I didn't see that vintage Mix that I know from Bellator, you know. He looked completely like out of it. Like striking doesn't look good. His movement, his head movement was stiff. Getting hit with jabs, no wrestling. You know, Jacob gonna come to fight. I mean, from what I see, so it's an even fight though. So I'll be very careful with that one. Odds on it too high. It's an even fight. It's crazy odds just based off his last performance. That's just what it is, man. Daniel, oh, hold on there. Yana and Macy. You got Macy at 200 and something? Hell no. That's freaking bananas, dude. Hell no. This fight here, Yana and Macy is an even fight, bro. Even fight. Macy should not be no 200 and something, man. She hasn't improved at all. She just keep doing the same thing. Yana has improved. So this fight is even, and I got Yana winning. You know, like again, I could be wrong, because women fight, like we always say, but it's an even fight though. Be very, very careful with that one. Let me see here. What's the next fight here? Daniel and Yo. Daniel at 150. Okay, 145. I don't see nothing wrong with that. I feel Daniel could be a little more well-rounded with the takedowns and the ground game, but it's still a tricky fight though. It's still a very, very close fight because Yo is not bad. But I like Daniel, but I'd be very careful. Gutierrez and Farid. Damn, they got Farid at 400 and something. That's just, dude. Chris is not bad, man. Chris is a veteran and he's skilled. So we see the other Basharat brother lost already, I think twice. So I'd be careful with this one. You know, I mean, I like what I see from Farid, and I have him winning. But at 400 or something, I'd be very, very, very careful. I mean, I tell you, the veteran guys, they come in there and they pull off wins, man. Like a Magni, you know. And not every card is the same. But I'd be careful with this one. But I have Farid winning, but I'll still be careful though. All right. Edmen and Muniz, they got Edmen at 300 or something. Man, the odds on these guys are freaking high, dude. And it turns out these are guys that can drop the ball, man. Like Edmen will drop the ball, dude. Muniz will drop the ball too, but Edmen will drop the ball, bro. So him being 300, man, is way too high, bro. I'd be very careful with this one. I have Edmen winning, but just the odds is just, you can't really trust these guys, man, because they'll drop the ball. But Andre Muniz, I mean, Edmen's supposed to kind of touch him up with the jab, you know, and kind of keep him on the long range there, keep him on the distance, and get him tired. But the odds is just too high. I have Edmen, but the odds is high, bro. I'll be very careful. We got to watch out for the guys that can drop the ball, man. This fight here, I guess they haven't made the odds yet for it, but I'm pretty sure it's gonna be super, super high. You're gonna be Ateba versus what's his name? Tristan. But the odds on that's gonna be super freaking high. Probably around maybe 2,000 or something. Because that Tristan guy is very freaking hittable, dude. So Ateba gonna be very high, but I wouldn't even mess with that either, man. Because anything can happen in the fights, bro. Pyfer and a boss, Pyfer at 260. Yeah, still be careful, man. A boss is very, very experienced. Joe Pyfer is a skilled guy, but he still have a little slight greenness about him. It's a 3-round fight, though, should favor him. But a boss is very, very, very skilled, dude. Like, again, go back to Magni again. Can't sleep on these guys that are experienced, man. So, I like Joe, but odds is still high, man. Josh Emmett is plus 350 and Zalal is like 300. Nah, bro. 500 and something, 400, bro. Josh will find your chin. Again, the only reason I pick Zalal because his movement and he's in a bigger cage. If it was a smaller cage, I may kind of favor Josh, which I still kind of favor Josh slightly. But I have to go with Zalal with the movement and the speed and timing. Just the speed. And his skill. But Josh will come in there and find a chin, bro. I wouldn't. This could be like the Magni and Jake fight, dude. I'm telling you, man, you can't sleep on Josh Emmett, bro. Very, very dangerous guy for anybody to fight. The cage is bigger though, so I'm like, you know, Zala got more room, but 500 or something, dude. I'll be very, very careful with this one, bro. Very, very, very careful. You may want to throw Josh in some parlays, man. It just wouldn't hurt, you know what I mean? We see upsets all the time, bro. But it's not every card is the same. Like I said, Zalal could use his speed. Zalal moves well, moves out of center line well. You know what I mean? Pick his shots here and there. But Josh is a dog. Josh will find your chin. I'm telling you, bro. He'll find your chin, man. Yuri and Cal. Yuri 160, 186, 175. Yeah, well, Cal got puncher's chance, though. And Yuri can get catched. Can get caught. And Kala will catch him with a punch. But Yuri is good at moving in, and it look like he's moving his head off center line a little better. He's good at moving in, and move out. He's good on the in and out and lateral movement, keeps it off center line, but he can still get caught. So it's a risky fight, man. Even Yuri at 186 is still risky because Kala could catch him. So it's a fight where you gotta be very careful with it. You can go either way on this one, man. It's kind of close. All right. Sandhagen and Merab. They got Merab at 400, 400. Yeah, I mean, I don't see nothing wrong with that. I mean, like I said with Merab, man, he's beating up on anybody. He's beating up on everybody, bro. He's mauling everybody, bro. And I'm not sure what Corey's going to do. Corey's going to have to knock him out. That's pretty much it. Or cut him up to where to stop the fight. Yeah, so it's, you know, the odds on that one is it's not too bad. I mean, I don't see how Corey's going to win that. Like I said, LSE knocks out Merab. But like I said, Merab is not an easy guy to finish. You know, I think he only been submitted one time, I believe. You know, so yeah, the odds on that is not too bad, but anything is possible though. Alex and Magomed 265. Yeah, honestly, nothing wrong with that. I'm not sure how Alex gonna win this fight. And like I said, with Ankalaev, he didn't even push wrestling in his last fight. You know, he didn't even take on Alex in the last fight. He even tried to do that. He was just striking, and that's it. And he beat him with the striking. He beat Alex at what he's good at. So if Magomed come in there, you know, with a more well-roundedness, which he has, and just decide to just wrestle, you know, Alex could be more problems. So I feel that Ankalaev should win this fight. The odds is not too bad on it. You got some at 670 here. Better rivers. Yeah. So yeah, that's pretty much it right there, guys. The odds the odds on this fight card is kind of high though. We have a lot of veterans here that can't sleep on them, like Josh. You know, even Andre Muniz, but Andre Muniz is not durable though. Abos, you know, Chris Gutierrez. You gotta be careful with those guys, because those guys are veterans. With veteran guys, you gotta watch out for them, especially when they're fighting these new prospect upcomers. You know, it happens all the time. They drop the ball, man. You know what I mean? Especially when they're undefeated. You know what I mean? So so that's it right there, guys. That's my odd breakdowns and everything like that. You guys can leave your comments down below. Let me know, you know, what guys you have picking. You know, leave your picks down below too, because like I said, I'm making predictions, but other people have their own opinions and facts too. You know, like I said, I could also be wrong. It's just a prediction. So you guys can leave your predictions down below too. Well love out to everybody. You guys keep on kicking, and